innovation efforts. Today, we have the opportunity to speak to one of our innovators, Frank Mutaremwa, who is the founder of the Akatale application, whose innovation was funded under the most recent cohort of the National ICT Initiatives Support Program by Uganda's Ministry of Food to the Government of the Republic of Grown Social. Questions there, and my colleagues who are on the same call will note them down and then pause them at the end of Frank's speech. Frank and team, congratulations once again that the Akatale application is up, running, and currently in use. We are very proud of you and your team, and welcome to the Fireplace. Frank, we will move on to our first question to guide our engagement.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Please briefly tell us about Akatale Innovation and how it works for the sake of our audience who might not know it. Thank you.
All right. First of all, I'd like to appreciate this opportunity to share about Akatale. Akatale Fresh, that's what we call it now. I'd like to appreciate RAN for their support, for their mentoring, for their coaching, and they've been very, very supportive. I'd like to appreciate, of course, the government of Uganda as well for the grant. Without it, I don't think we would have taken off. But I thank the government that the grant was availed and been able to take off. Now, Akatale is basically an online platform where you can make purchases, grocery purchases. And grocery, in this case, we are looking at fresh groceries, items that you can find in the local market. That is our niche, that is our focus. And so we are able to, customers are able to go online using the app, the Akatale app, which you can find for Android users, you can find on Play Store and download it. And then after you download it, you install it and you're able to make purchases. If you don't use Android, if you have PC or if you have Mac or if you have any other, you can go to the website, www.akatalefresh.com. Very easy to use. You register, finish registering, and you're able to shop quite easily. They are very, very easy to use. There are very few people I've had to guide to actually make purchases or do anything. But of course, once in a while, someone insists on sending you their price list or their grocery list on WhatsApp, and you place in the order for them, and then get their stuff delivered to them. And so yeah, we've been able to deliver to almost the whole of Kampala. We delivered to Jinja. We've delivered to places near Entebbe. Yeah, so Akatale is up and running, and I really thank God for it.
Thank you so much, Frank, for that brief about Akatale. Could you kindly tell us briefly about your background, particularly related to how your background led to your decision to develop the Akatale application? Usually innovators are linked to doing what their background speaks. We don't know whether this is the case for you. Thank you.
Okay. My background definitely has had a lot to do with this innovation. So I'll tell you my story. I graduated around about the year 2000 from Makerere University, and I did a Bachelor of Science where I did subjects mathematics and computer science. And so I straight away went into the computer arena or the IT arena. And I did a couple of jobs in there, mostly as a techie. Then eventually I moved from being a techie, or what would you call a techie? A techie is is like someone who helps you with your issues, technical issues, like if you have a computer spot, or if you have you're not connecting to the internet. That those days, people had issues with the internet, and so you'd go to people's homes and help them. But I also would deal with servers and ensure that the servers are working fine. So anyway, I was a techie then, and then as I developed, I realized that I did better with people as well, and so I started going onto the business end of technology. And so I started relating what the technical people were doing to what the market wanted or what the market needed. And so I became more of business development or salesperson, that kind of person. And yeah, eventually, as I went on, I, thought of starting my own businesses. And so I started some tech businesses. And after that, I realized, okay, I could do more than just technology. And so I come from a place in Uganda, in southern Uganda, southwestern Uganda, called Kabale. Now, Kabale grows a lot of Irish potatoes. Kabale and Kisoro grow a lot of Irish potatoes. And so I figured, well, why don't I start this, supplying Kampala with Irish potatoes? So, I first went, did have a truck, brought it to Kampala, sold it, then did a full truck. And when I did a full truck, that's when I got like the biggest challenge that really opened my eyes. So I brought that truck here and tried to supply it. I would supply majorly to the ladies that sell Irish potatoes in the market. And many times they would not pay, or many times you'd even get to a point where you forgot who you sold to, or someone would take, up to now, there's a guy that took around 20 sacks of Irish potatoes and never paid them. And, he just got lost, and I just let it be. Basically, it was very challenging. And the challenge was, I didn't have ready markets. I didn't have ready market. I would have all these Irish potatoes, but they would rot on me. I actually had to literally give away Irish potatoes because they were rotting. And so I figured it is much better to first develop the demand, first get to the market, first get the people who need what you have. And then you can go back to the source and source what you want and deliver it. And so that's how, really, that was the idea behind Akatale. Now, joining it with the technology was great, but ideally, that idea of client first develop a clientele, was what pushed the idea and led to what is now called the Akatale app. Yeah.
Okay, that's quite interesting, Frank. Thank you. When you speak about Kabale, yeah, many of us have very strong attachments to Kabale, which we can discuss after the Zoom session. So congratulations once again, yeah, about Akatale. And you and your team relaunched the Akatale application right before the enforcement on movement restrictions due to the corona pandemic. As an innovator and as a passionate innovator at that, would you say it was perfect timing for you? If it were perfect timing, how was it perfect timing? Or what provoked your decision to launch when you did?
Sorry, can you repeat that question again?
Yeah, thank you, Frank. So you and the team that you are working with relaunched the Akatale application right before the enforcement on movement restrictions due to the corona pandemic. Would you say it was a perfect timing for you and your team? If so, how was it perfect? And or what provoked your decision you did?
Sorry about that. Someone has been trying to call me. Really sorry. Um, well, I could say that the timing was perfect um, for this, but I would also say it's like, what can I say? It's like we didn't even plan to. Of course, no one planned for this to happen. So it just happened, and we just happened to be in the right place at the right time. I'm reminded of a wise saying in the book of in the Bible somewhere where it says the race is not unto the strong, neither is neither what to the brilliant or something like along those lines. But time and chance happens to us all. So it's not so much that Frank has all the team has been so brilliant and stuff, but over time we've been preparing ourselves. We had been preparing for ourselves. This thing that we have right now has taken, let's see, since the beginning of 2017, because we had an app that wasn't what we have now, that we put out there and tested the waters. Then right now we relaunched, we launched, developed a new app and launched it. And that's what the market really wants. It's a really nice app, really nice looking, and no one is having any issues with it. And but it just happens that we had been preparing for all this time. Then, of course, also the funding came in at just the right time. So what can I say? I'm just thankful that it has all happened right now. Uh, and yeah, if I bet in whatever you do, if you're focused and you're getting yourself ready every day and working and you just keep moving, then there's no question about that. The fact that one day there'll be a chance for your innovation, or there'll be a chance for your idea to blossom.
Wow. Thank you, Frank. That means your preparation started quite early, and
Yes.
that leads to my next question.
Yeah.
Could you kindly take us through briefly what this preparation would have been, or what you went through to prepare for that perfect market launch moment? We want to thank God that was almost perfect timing
Yeah.
because of the conditions around. But you've talked about preparation. What is
Yes.
entailed in the preparation process?
Okay. Like I told you, this app, like I registered the business name or the that we're working under in late 2016. At that point, we didn't even have an app. We didn't have anything. We just had an idea. So I registered the business name with a few partners then, and then we decided, okay, let's do this. Along the way, some developed cold feet and, and left, and so we were left with a few and just kept moving. And so what we did is we developed this app, which wasn't really good to use, but you always get some people who are going to just jump on with you. And so we had a few people uh, using the app, and so we really tested the waters from 2017, the beginning of 2017 to 2018. And we had about, you can imagine, we had about 100 orders in that period over like 2 years, which is really few orders if you look at it. But you see, they taught us a lot. Those orders that we handled, they made us understand what the market was like. We were able to learn from it. We learned so much from it, so that when we relaunched and started getting 100 orders in a week, then we knew what to do. We knew how to react to the orders. We knew how to work on the orders real fast. We knew that checking was required, that you could easily forget an item. These ladies can really give you a list of 41, a grocery list of like 41 items, and you really have to get all of them the right way. If someone has said, I want 2 kilos of tomatoes, you better not give them one. If someone has said, I want imported lemon, you better not give them a local a local lemon. So something like that, you have to really pay attention to the details. We've had to learn all this stuff. And of course, we are still learning. I mean, we're about to even make some changes right now because we are learning as we go. And so it's, to be honest, I will tell you this, it's very exciting for us as a team, very exciting for me as one of the founders, and it really gives me a lot of joy to see it working out.
So Frank, you're sharing with us is that this started as an idea. It starts looping in your mind and thinking through, and then you went out to try continuous you could actually do it, and then you embraced the innovation and embraced Akatale app.
Yes.
Are you there, Frank?
Yes, I'm here. Do you hear me?
Are you there, Frank?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes,
You hear me?
we hear you, Frank.
Yes. Yes.
You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes, I just summarized what you shared, that it started as an idea. You went on learning on the job as you developed further the idea and tested it, and eventually you embraced it for it to be able to work as it is working now.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, Frank, when we relate to what is happening currently, there are several entrepreneurs who have identified the opportunity to offer delivery services.
Yes.
Including Safe Border, etc.
Yeah.
How are you and team standing out from the competition, given the current rise in delivery services on the market?
Okay, that's a good question. We are watching the competition. Of course, there's always something you can learn from the competition. I think Safe Border is working with what we would call our major competitors. They're not doing they're not shopping for themselves. They are working with our competitors. And now that teaches you that actually there is power in what's the word, in joining hands with other businesses to push you forward, or to gain leverage from them. And so we are also thinking about something in that direction to see if we can leverage from bigger brands. But much more, we are listening to our clients a lot, listening to them. What do they want? What exactly, what fault are they finding with us, if there is? How can we make ourselves better? And I think, as far as I can see right now, our major issue is ensuring that the service is of quality, okay, in every way, whether it's customer service, whether it's the groceries that you deliver. It's it's ensuring that your service is top notch, because to be honest, the kind of people we are delivering to are majorly a kind of people that require a certain kind of service, if you know what I mean. Like we are not what can I say? But we are not. This is not. To be honest, this is not a service that everyone will. Very many people will prefer to walk to the market and pick their items, their Irish potatoes or whatever, and go back home. They look at our service maybe and look at the cost and may say, oh my God, that is a little too expensive. So if you're targeting this kind of people, then you're going to have to really have an excellent service. And so that's what we're looking into. But we are also working on looking at things like costs, like because we know that our market is very price sensitive. And so we are working without revealing too much. There are things that we are doing to ensure that our clients are going to be happier and will want to shop from us even much more once we make the changes that we need to make.
Okay, it's nice to know that you attribute to the power of collaboration, because even us, the Resilient Africa Network, had it not been for the collaboration between the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance here in Uganda, we wouldn't have been able to support you to seeing you now start taking adulthood steps, not the baby steps. So I think it's good to be open to collaboration in innovation. I was going to ask for you to elaborate more on the top-notch service.
Yes.
But it seems you have some IP-related issues there that you wouldn't like to share. Yeah, I would like to, I'm sure our participants would like to know a little bit more of how you ensure that you are managing this, this kind of competition on the market. Frank, is there something more you can highlight on that as we take some of our questions on the chat room? Dear participants, please feel free to type out your questions on the chat room, but also raise your hand and we'll give you a chance to say something. Thank you.
Okay. What was that question about? The competition, right?
The competitors who are so many on the market.
Okay.
What is it that is uniquely standing out?
Okay. Now, when you have an idea which you haven't copied, in as much as there was someone doing something similar to what we are doing, to be honest, I did not look at them and then come up with an idea. The idea just came out as I went, you know, and then I realized, oh, there's nothing new under the sun. Someone already has done it. And I was, oh, okay, you know, and so I went on with it. So once you have an idea that you feel passionate about and you feel this is my idea and you own it and you're not trying to copycat, you're not being a copycat, you're not, you know, trying to open a shop just because your neighbor opened a shop, then you're going to be very passionate about it in spite of anyone who tries and comes up with something similar. I don't fear competition as such. I actually feel competition gives you an opportunity to even grow more, because if competition comes, then they will make even the people that weren't using your application or your product, your service, wants to actually use it, want to look at it. That's what competition does. But of course, you have to be confident about yourself. You have to really be confident about what you're offering and stick with it and make it better and stand out. That's how you stand out. You have to be uniquely you. There are things that that you're doing behind the scenes that only you are doing. And so there are things we do when someone makes an order, we don't just deliver it just like that. Just, okay, so an order has come in, shop, deliver. Or an order has come in, get items, deliver. No. It's more than that. There is a whole system that we've established of what we do when an order comes in, and you know, we don't just deliver. So we are confident about what we're doing, and we are trying to make it better and better and better. And I think if the competition comes in, and I'm looking at people like Jumia as well. That's competition, and I watch them and see what they are doing, and to be honest, I'm confident that we can match up or even be better. Actually, I believe strongly we are better. We are going to be much better than them. Okay, because we are very focused. Okay, you know, we are very focused. Our market is clear, and yeah, we'll push it, and we'll be better.
That's beautiful. It's good to be very confident, and when you're doing something that you very well know that works out, then you are able to run the show very confidently. And I'm glad that you're even looking at being better than Jumia. Wow, we would like to associate with you even more. Yeah. Frank, we have one of our participants kindly requesting for you to recap about Akatale app. We received so many others join us after you had shared what Akatale is. Do you kindly mind taking us through what it is?
You want a recap of what Akatale app does or what it is?
Yes, what it is and what it does.
Okay. Basically, Akatale app is a grocery delivery service that is technology driven. And so what we do is we have an application called Akatale app, or in the market we are known as Akatale Fresh. Okay, we have an application and a website. The website is www.akatalefresh.com, and the app you can go to Play Store and download the app. You can type Akatale, you can type Akatale Fresh, you'll get it. The first one on top is ours. And so what the app or the website enable you to do after you register, because once you go to the website, you need to register with your email and maybe your phone number. Yes, with your email and phone number. Once you have those, then you're able to shop groceries. And we're talking about fresh groceries. Apples, matoke, dodo, nakati, all those things that you find in the local market. Okay, we have also fish and beef and all that stuff that we add in onto that. And so you can shop all those items. Like if you want to prepare lunch for your family, you know. Now those are the people that we're targeting, really, people with families. We're not majorly targeting singles. We are targeting people with families. If you want to cook a meal for your family, you may want a couple of items, plus, you know, a couple of items to cook the food, and then, you know, a couple of other items for the desserts. And yeah, so you can buy some fruits, then buy some food, basically, using the app. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Frank. So Akatale app, basically you can download it and be able to order for your groceries from the market, fresh food from the market, and
Yes.
it will be uniquely delivered to you. I am yet to testify to that.
You need to shop.
Share the testimony, Natasha, my colleague. Yes, we shall be in touch. Yeah, so anybody with a question for Frank, we are open to your questions now. I can see Hood Suna has his hand up. Hood Suna, over to you. Please unmute and speak to us. Thank
you. Hello, everyone. Hope you're good. Frank, I really commend you for your resilience. I remember in my work in, I think, 2010, I tried something like that in my area and center. Now, Frank, you know, if you are aware about the MTN Celtel scenario by that time, where Celtel's target market was really high, targeting corporates. I'm wondering, what are you doing to bring the rest of us? Like, for instance, currently, maybe I may find your service a little bit expensive. So how are you doing do you have any plans to make sure that you reach out to a large number of people, like lowering maybe delivery cost of shopping on budget, depending on the location? Because I understand prices in Karere are different from prices in Nakasero, what. So what are you doing to make sure you bring most of us on board?
Wow, that's a very good question, Hood. Hood is my, yeah. Hello?
Yes, Frank, please go
Yes,
on.
I happen to know that gentleman, Hood, and I'm really impressed by the question he's shared. I mean, he's asked. Now, the Celtel strategy, if you remember, was targeted at very few Ugandans, and they got really hurt by it, and I remember it very clearly. And our strategy is, or our hope is, we are going to do something oh my God, I may be giving out so much, but what I can say, Hood, is very soon you will prefer that you use our service than go to to the market. That's what I can say, because we are going to do something that will that even if you went to the market yourself, you'll find yourself spending more than than if we had brought the stuff to you without compromising our quality. We have to really keep our quality to top notch. So in as much as I would want to get items that are cheap, uh, there's a way to get items that are cheap actually. But so we will be able to source items that at a cheap and be able to deliver at a very good price. So that our goal, I remember when I was thinking about this, my goal was to pass on a price to the client that if they saw that price, they would say, "Oh my God, I've never gotten this price." And then when I delivered the quality, they would also again say, "Oh my God, I've never seen this quality." And so slowly by slowly, I believe we'll get to that goal. Mm.
Thank you so much, Frank, and thank you, Hood. Any other? Yes, I can see Niel Sims. Tango, please unmute and speak to us.
Hi, Frank. How are you? Thank you for the good work. I'm a client, a happy client, who is using the service, used it twice and not disappointed. I like especially the quality of the items that you deliver. My question, just having seen a couple of such companies, I know, first of all, that fresh deliveries are the future in terms of online, shopping. I want to just ask around what are you saying about, because I realize that your service depends a lot on, external logistics, for example. So I'm just thinking, let's say today, for whatever reason, things change so fast. Let's say Safe Border could not deliver tomorrow. What is your thought around being more in charge of your process internally?
Yeah.
And also how you think about scale. Let's say tonight, because of internet, things can just scale 0 to 1,000. Let's say tomorrow 10,000 orders came in. How are you thinking about that in terms of keeping the quality and also keeping the deliveries intact? Thanks.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Frank.
Okay. Thank
We
you
can
very
hear
much.
you, Frank. Go ahead.
What was the gentleman's name again?
Neil,
He's
you can just call me Neil.
Oh, Neo. Neo. Oh, Neo, I know you. Thank you very much. Well, the first question was about what? Was about the logistics. All right. That's a very important part of our business. We decided a while back that we were not going to try to reinvent the wheel. I'd actually thought when we were still thinking about the whole, I was like, man, why don't I just get my, get borders, normal borders that weren't even safe borders, have them deliver, and eventually I could even run a safe border service. But I figured I'm not going to do that. Let me instead use the tried and tested safe borders, and their pricing makes it so easy for you when it's very easy to negotiate with them and for them to deliver. But that said, we've quickly realized that you need your own, like a transport mechanism that you control. And so we are developing that. We already have a couple of delivery systems of our own, like delivery bikes in this case of our own, and we are hoping we can grow that. But yes, you want to be very careful. Like the other day when the time of delivery was changed from you could deliver till 7, then it was changed to 2 p.m. Then it was extended yesterday again to 5 p.m. When that happened, it really changed our service. We had to be at the market very early. and make sure we've sent out all the orders by midday. We had to start asking people who sent in their orders after midday to expect them tomorrow. It changed a lot. But the good thing was the way we kept, like changing with the change. Like what's the word for that? It's reinventing. We kept reinventing ourselves, and some orders we've had to even uh, deliver using using a car, and so that's another means that we can use. You can use a car as well, and so it's more expensive, but it's good enough. If you have like a couple of orders in a certain direction, you can use a car and deliver. And so I feel logistically we are thinking in the right direction. Then regarding scaling, uh, you talked about what if we had 1,000 orders, and that's a question we've had to think about as well, because at some point while we were working, we had just begun, and suddenly in a day we had close to like 20 orders, and we were few, and it was tough. So we did as much as we could. We had to utilize a lot of our customer service. Guys weren't sleeping. They had to call the clients, try to get them to expect the order the next day. It was quite tough, and then we had to quickly expand the team. Basically, we've had to go through quite a lot of changing and reshaping, and and so when you're talking about scaling up, I think right now we are developing a system so that we can output faster. If you can output faster, then you're sure to you can do 50 orders a day, 100 orders a day easily. And so we're working on something to enable us to output faster. And once we have that, and as we output faster, we need to maintain the quality, of course. So once we have that in place, then we will be able to go out and shout at the hilltops and say and tell everyone to buy. You might realize that we are not doing that much of marketing, because we are a little cautious of the fact that if we have 40 orders to deal with in a day, then that might affect our quality. Yeah, so we are little baby steps really, but we are expanding as we go.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Sorry, Adong, for interrupting. I just realized as a host, I can't raise my hand.
Oh, no problem. No problem at all, Natasha. Go ahead.
First of all, I will just agree. Well, I'll put my stamp on Akatale. I tested the app, even though, according to Frank, I'm not among his target clients because I'm single.
Really?
I did test the application, and I thought it was good. And even just to say to some of the other participants that it was actually quite affordable compared to other delivery services, which I found really good. And it's good. I'm happy to hear that you're thinking of ways to lower those costs. We had a question.
Yes, we are.
We had a question from someone who was asking about the kind of volumes you are handling now as a business. Like, how many orders are you handling currently? And then
okay.
let me just pose the two questions, and then you can answer both. And then
Okay.
the other question was on safety. Well, they asked about what procedures and safety measures have you put in place, considering the different setbacks in businesses. And I think they were referring to the fact of like, what kind of measures have you put in? I don't know if you can tell this to us, but what kind of measures have you instilled to ensure the quality of what you are doing? And also, in terms of your business, we hear a lot of scary statistics about startups, that within the first couple of, before their first birthday, many of them have already closed down shop. So what kind of things are you trying to do to ensure that that you stay in business and stay afloat as Akatale? Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to answer the last question and ask you to remind me of what the the first question was.
No problem.
Okay, so let me go. Uh, Startups and their birthdays. We are actually, how many years do we have now? We started the like real operations began in 2017, the beginning of 2017. And so it's been what, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. So we are in a fourth year, right? Yeah. And so I'm kind of glad that is it 3-year thing that they say about startups? It doesn't happen to us. Of course, one of the key things that keeps you going, it has mostly to do with founders, like the personality. Well, personality, the resilience. Basically, are they resilient enough? Because everyone is going to have setbacks. Everyone is going to have hard times. Everyone, whoever you are, however rich, you're going to have all these setbacks that come to everyone. And so, yes, we've had those setbacks. Yes, we've had, like, let me be honest with you. We've had a team, and I looked at this team, and you're like, my gosh, this is a great team. And I've seen it get dismantled for one reason or the other, and suddenly you find you just the two of you, just you alone, And so you go through these things as an entrepreneur, and you just have to keep going. And then you even start questioning yourself: am I really meant for this? Is this, this for me? Then wake up again. I've gotten, let me even be honest and tell you, I've been at a point where I was as close to giving up on this idea. I was like, okay, is this what I really want to do? Where is the money? Where is the what? I have a family to feed, So I've gotten to all those places, but somehow, by, by God's grace, I just kept moving on. And here we are. Yeah, here we are. We have a very amazing team right now. And I really thank God for that. One of the things that we're doing, talking about longevity, is we're establishing business systems. Okay. One of my partners, he couldn't be available today, but he's really, really good with establishing systems, developing systems. And so personally, I'm not that good at that. So one of the things that you have to do as an entrepreneur is you really need to be honest with yourself, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and bring in people into the team that can complement you. And so this guy really complements me real good. And he's developing the systems, making sure that we hire the right people, making sure that they know exactly what to do, like develop what are they called, job descriptions and stuff, and then have a way you do things and say, when an order comes in, this is what you do. Then you do this. Then you do this. Basically, all that kind of system is developing it, and really, I'm really appreciative of what he's doing, and can't thank him enough. So yeah, if you ask me what we're doing to keep afloat, that's one of the things that we're doing, because once you have your good systems, then it doesn't matter if I'm not there tomorrow, if I didn't work tomorrow, if I am not, I'm ill and I'm unable to go, the company will just keep moving because you've established the systems. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much.
The other question was?
The second question was about the volume you're currently handling.
Okay, the volume we're handling. Who wants to know about the volume we're handling? We are, let's see, when Corona began, what are the stats? Let's say, let me give you what we handle on an average. We've been averaging around, I think, around 7 to 10 orders per day. Yeah. But yeah, at times because it's an average, at times you can have 15, at times, and that without marketing. Yeah.
That's great. That's great news.
Mm.
I think one of our colleagues, Ronald, has a question. Ronald, you can turn on your mic.
Yes, thank you, Frank. Thank you, Natasha. Well, Frank, just to use this opportunity, maybe it could help our other innovators that are here and also other participants that are looking at really venturing into closely related business or any other business that is quite innovative. Just
Yeah.
as you said, and just as how it has been published, it's hard, and with the startups, it hasn't been easy. And so, Frank, could you share how you've been able to leverage maybe some startup funding, like in form of grants, and
Yeah.
then some maybe could have come up as equity. I don't know, but
Yeah.
you could share that brief and maybe help other participants know when, how do you utilize grants to get
Yeah.
you starting, and then when do you really see that at this level, when do you hope, assuming you're still maybe using grants, but when do you hope like now what you really need are not the grants, because sometimes even grants come with their own kind of stringent terms,
Yeah.
and then maybe you want really to do this other part. For example, you're looking at really trying to now also build your own transport mechanisms and maybe grow it, but maybe
Yeah.
the grant is so small and then you can't really do much with that. So could you please share on how you see how innovators can use grants, not discouraging innovators to use grants, but then how can they use them fruitfully? I
Yeah.
know it always comes to the person, and I always I've written about that
Mm.
somewhere, that with the startups it is always about the starter,
Yeah. That's
because
true.
you really don't do much, and it's about the financial discipline. But when does an innovator then get out of that and say, okay, what I need maybe is equity kind of funding, is
Yeah.
can I do shares out there,
Yeah.
can I do like can I go public, like maybe
Yeah.
another the term that is common in the US.
Yeah.
So when do you get to that level, just to help other participants learn that, well, grants get us starting, and then we look
Yeah.
forward to really growing this financially stable entity, and then we become kind of financially stable, all the mechanisms are working, all the channels are active, and no
Yeah.
more reliance on maybe seed funding and again pitching this over and over again to people. Just that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronald. Um, I won't lie to you, funding is always an advantage, but it has to be an advantage. It's an advantage only if only if you're committed to your idea. All right. If you just ruin your paperwork just for the sake, just say, let me see what this gets me, then you know funding won't help you. You'll probably eat the money or do something, buy a plot of land or something. But this funding found me. Okay, let me talk about me as the founder. Found me very, very committed. I mean, I'd done this for 3 years. I'd gotten to the point of thinking. My mindset was, if this business doesn't work, I might as well get a visa, go to Canada and just live there and just agree that, okay, Uganda has jammed. You know, basically it was, you've heard of that thing, who said 50 Cent, who said that I get rich or die trying. It was like that kind of mindset of, I'm going to do this. I have to do this. I have to make this work. All right. By the way, I don't encourage you to get rich or die trying, just for the record. Yeah. But all I was trying to say is I was extremely committed to this. And so when the funding came, it had to be channeled majorly to the things that had to do with this app. Okay, actually every money has gone to something that has to do with the application, whether it's paying for salaries, whether it's and you need some people to really be committed full time to an idea for it to to grab. And so whether it's paying for someone to develop that technology, stuff like that, I've had to push it, and it has really been helpful for those for that. What else did I want to say? Also, like now where we are, we have a very what I could call a very nice clientele, like a list, okay, emails and numbers of people who have actually used our services. As in, you could never ask for more. Like, okay, they are not 1,000 yet, but it's a good number. I'll tell you that. And you could utilize this number and grow it. But without funds, it could take a while. But right now, if we didn't, if no money was added to us right now and we just operated from where we are, it could be hard for sure. But I know that would just by utilizing, calling back all these clients, serving them better and stuff like that, we would probably grow a little slower, but we would grow with these clients that we have. But now, what the funding does is that it enables you to expand quicker. And so we already have this idea, we already have this focus. And so once we want to say grow and say start, instead of serving 10 people per day, we want to serve 20 people per day. We are able to do things that enable us to serve those 20 people per day. And that's our next leap, really, to be able to get to that point where we can serve more people in a single day than we are doing right now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Frank, and thank you, dear participants. Do we have anybody else with their hand up to share a comment, a question, word of motivation to Frank and his team? Do we have any other question, Natasha?
We have one question from one of our participants, David, who was asking about how you handle complaints in case one of your clients is not pleased with the quality. How do you manage those complaints?
Come again, Natasha.
Sorry, we had a question from one of our participants, David Kiza, who was asking about how you manage your complaints when, for example, a client is not happy with the product they've received or the quality. How do you manage those complaints?
Okay, that's a very good question. And that is something that has happened. I will tell you that. We've gotten some people that have been, there's like this one particular person who was so angry that they went into somewhere on Facebook and, posted something really not nice about the company. And so managing such complaints is extremely important. We've had to learn real fast. And so what we're doing right now is, if someone has a complaint, we have a replacement guarantee. If you have this item, maybe it's kiwi or it's an apple, and you don't like it, we will replace it. Okay, we will pay the transport at our cost. We will, we'll replace that item. But of course, that means that as much as we can, we try to ensure that there are as few as possible complaints. But yes, there's always that one client, that one person who, is not yet, satisfied. But also, as staff, there's already a chance that your staff also doesn't do a great job. So we also have to supervise the staff. We have to make sure that they send out things that we can stand by and say, okay, these are really nice things. But yes, we've gone through that. There's this if I can share with you an example, this one particular client, lady from one of the suburbs in Kampala, and she made an order with us and she wasn't pleased at all. She took a picture of it, sent it to us. So we looked at it. So the next day we said, what do we do? So we said, okay, let's buy her stuff over and again and send it back to her. So we bought it, called her, apologized, and sent her back really nice looking stuff, better than she had had the previous day. At times the market also doesn't have the things that you would want. And so at times you have to tell the client, you know what, this particular item is not available. So anyway, that particular client I was talking about eventually has become one of those, like she shops and shops and shops, and yet she wasn't happy a while ago.
Thank you, Frank. It's good to know that at this point, well, from what you're saying, you are at the mercy of your customers, which is how it should with the business regarding that. Over to you, Adong. I think that was the last question we had.
Okay, thank you so much, Natasha, and everybody else. Thank you, Frank. We don't.
You're welcome.
We have one hand up, and it's 4 p.m. I don't know whether we should be a little flexible, since we're flexible at the start, so that we can hear from Joshua. But before we hear from Joshua, allow me to note that there is James, who says, hello, Frank. Nice to hear your story, and it's a great motivation to keep going.
Thank you,
Those
James.
are good messages. But we also have a message from Maggie Linak. Dr. Maggie Linak is a representative for USAID. The Resilient Africa Network is funded by USAID, Washington, D.C., and she was very kind to join us in this particular session. She's written to all of us saying thank you all, and special thanks to Frank and the team. Maggie, we are also grateful for your continued support, and the entire team at USAID Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Dr. Maggie.
Yes, over to you, Joshua. Can you unmute, please, and speak to us in the next few minutes before we conclude?
Yeah, thank you, Harriet. I'm joining from South Sudan. I'm currently based in South Sudan, working with MTN Uganda. Well, thank you, Frank, for your insights on Akatale and for the knowledge sharing and sharing your experience. So I just checked out your website, and I realized when it comes to checking out, okay, you have cash on delivery as one of your payment options.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know how you handle a customer pressing a false order. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about. A customer goes on to your website and does a false order and just wants to play around with. Because there are people like that who probably are bored and they just want to waste your time. I would call 7 calls them idiots. There's an idiot out there that just wants to play around with it. Puts a false order, you pack everything, you think you're going to deliver, but it's a wrong address, it's wrong everything. How have you put that in check?
Okay, that's a great question. I'm impressed that you can think of such a detail. Yes, we have received false orders. Or we have received also orders that someone makes in the morning, and or makes at night, and in the morning they really don't want the stuff anymore. And so what we do before we even start processing an order is we ensure that we call the person, okay? And so at times, if it's a false order, many times the contacts are not real, or the person, you start talking to the person and you can tell that they are really not interested, okay? And so we have our customer service people who call, and they always give us a go-ahead to deliver or not to deliver. And let me tell you this, we've delivered, I think, more cash on delivery or mobile money on delivery than we have cash before delivery. And so it's one of those things you have to take your chances. I mean, you think about it and you're like, okay, at worst, what will happen? At worst, we will bring the items back. Maybe we'll give them out tomorrow, or we'll eat them ourselves. And so you have to take those chances. But yeah, it's a calculated risk. It's not something that we can tell. There's some intelligence you form as you go by, that you can tell. You can look at the information, look at the location that the person has put. Have they tried to show you exactly where they stay, or have they just put a general location? And so you can tell who is joking and who's not.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Frank. You're able to tell who is joking and who is playing on the app and not. But I guess you remain calm, whatever the case.
Yes, we do.
Dear participants, we are coming to the close of this because we respect time. We respect your time. We are grateful that you could join us. Thank you so much for being a part of the very first run Innovation Fireplace digitally. We hope that this discussion was meaningful to each one of you, and we hope that together with Frank, we've contributed to further generating and sharing some knowledge for the benefit of all of us, but above all, for the benefit of the communities where we live and where we serve. Like I said at the start, we will have our next session online sometime next week for the fireplace, for the Innovation Fireplace. Unfortunately, we could not light the fire digitally, but we are working around that. Trust us on that. And please, we will be able to share details via our different communication platforms and social media platforms on Twitter, Facebook, and our website, www.runlab.org. Please like us on Facebook, Resilient Africa Network, but also follow us on Twitter at Africa Resilient. And please keep updated on our website. We keep sharing all opportunities there. Frank, we cannot thank you enough for sharing and being able to motivate each one of us that it's actually doable. I've gone away with 2 key messages: that you need to develop demand and then source in order to deliver. You don't just do things haphazardly. You need to be able to develop demand and then source and deliver, and then remain focused and get ready each day, keep getting ready, test the waters and keep iterating where necessary, and you'll be good to go. Allow me to, yes, I will share my notes, Frank, with you, be sure. Yeah, we are so grateful that you'd be a part of us, and you've worked along from the start at 3 o'clock up to the top of the hour, even beyond the hour. We don't take your time for granted. I would also like to thank my colleagues who are on this session from the Resilient Africa Network. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you, Wilson, our IT specialist, for making this workable. You are very, 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 very appreciated. Thank you, Natasha, the host. Is your hand up or you're just waving at me?
No, I'm applauding, sorry.
Thank you so much. Next time we'll see, we'll work with the innovators, especially Frank, who has been our first on the digital series, to see how we can light this fire online or digitally. And then we have the fireplace like we used to do those olden days. So once again, we want to thank all of you, and soap and enough water so that we can avoid next session next week where we shall be able to engage even more. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, Frank. And bye-bye for now. Take care.
Bye.